Thank you so much for watching. Looking forward to Pauline Hanson being on the show on Tuesday night in our new News 24 studio. I'm very excited that she's going to be there. She'll take questions from the audience physically with us and from people around the country. We'll get to all of that. And joining me right now in the Man Cave to answer my questions, because we don't have the technology to hear what you're saying at home yet, is Ross Cadell, of course, the New South Wales Senator and the future Senator, is none other than Joe Hill.
Great, man. How are you?
All right. So today, just continuing on with my worthy themes every now and then, but you need to do this, which is the waiting list for kids in New South Wales to get access to psychiatry help, publicly funded psychiatry help, grows. Now, in the same way that I have banged on about government needs to fix potholes, they need to have services like this when the people are in the crisis in the moment. It's why I talk about more money for Food Bank. It's why I talk about more money for this stuff. And I know there's been an ongoing dispute in and around all of this in New South Wales. But, Joe, to me, this is one of those ones where it is a test of the true commitment of the people running the joint, whether they get it or not. Now, I would prefer a system that was too generous when it came to help than one where you have to wait and beg for it.
Yeah, I think what often happens with mental health is obviously it can be incredibly complex and complicated. People's mental health can change. They can, be high, low, need help suddenly right now and then suddenly appear perfectly normal or appear normal on the outside all the time and not necessarily being aware or honest about what's going on underneath. I was just thinking about this. It was Morris Yema who was determined to make this his great legacy, and he put, I think, a couple of $1 billion into it. And it was a really noble thing to do. And like you, he's a very hard-headed, he's not a touchy-feely woke. No. He's not a social justice warrior, I can promise you that.
Dad.
But he's a dad, and he knew that this was a problem. And I just remember thinking, I thought we fixed this. And then I thought, geez, that was 20 years ago.
That's it, isn't it?
So Chris Minns is, of course, Morris Yema is one of his mentors. I think with this, like with social housing, where you saw the Minns government put in a record spending in the most acute need, I think once this sort of stuff comes to light, it's the exact sort of stuff that he would act on.
Well, also, Ross, can I just say too, when you're in a position right now in federal opposition, right, I'm not just saying this is the opportunity to promise everything to everyone, right, but when we're looking for ways to connect beyond the obvious, a recognition of stuff like this is important. Like, I know he failed, but essentially we got his government anyway. But remember when Bill Shorten and Scott Morrison during the 2019, they were talking about mental health in the Sky News forum. It was something that may not be sexy for clickbait and social media, but when people are looking to leaders, they want that recognition of an understanding of this issue.
And, Sun Tzu is big with me. Solves are great when they're small. And when these problems, when they come out, when they're young people, getting them a great aspect on the generalisation. I've been a shrink. I go as like confession without the Hail Marys. Get to do all that. And it just helps. It helps unload. It helps really put things in perspective. And if you do that when they're young, before things build up, have a better future.
Yeah, good man. And by the way, again, there's lots of ways that people can help each other, but also don't be scared that sort of, group therapy is some American thing and you're going to be crying for the next vote. No, it's about people who've had a similar situation or a trauma being able to share experiences, and you can become really good friends with one couple or one person in it. That might be your way in. The texting stuff from the Kids Helpline might be the way in it. There's lots of different ways, let alone Lifeline, all the rest of it. So again, I just see a great responsibility that if you are somebody who needs this stuff and you're watching us right now and you go, well, when are they going to talk about me? Well, there we are. We're talking about you, and we want you to be able to get that help, especially for the kids. Now, the Energy Minister, who's a hard lefty in New South Wales, Penny Sharp, with the renewables, which has also had very strong opinions about brumbies, and we know about all of that, yet seems to not have too strong an opinion about koalas or endangered trees if they're in the way of renewable energy projects. Ross?
I have an amazing story on this. We're reading, couldn't believe it. So we're going through some environmental impact statements on wind towers and what to do. And Appendix D of the Clark's Wind Farm talks about euthanasia and blunt force trauma using a heavy metal rod or wooden stick to the base of the skull and the back of the head for any injured koalas. If that's not successful, cervical dislocation or decapitation if one is comfortable to do that.
So the environmentally friendly people who say put up the wind farm say if the wind farm hurts an animal, kill the animal as
Blunt force trauma
aggressively as you can, as fast
with
as you
a heavy wooden stick or iron bar. It actually spells it out. It's Appendix D.
It even suggests the
0.6
weapons.
of what it does. It actually
amazing.
says, and then if that's not far enough, you may need 2 people if it's a bigger animal. It spells it out.
My goodness. I mean, Joe, again, this is the blind spot for the people who have wrapped the renewable energy stuff in the cloak of it's all about the environment or it's all good for the planet, not financial transition, energy security, all of the other potential arguments that there are. But then when they're confronted with the reality of this, right, doesn't stop them at all.
Yeah, I mean, again, I think obviously for a lot of people, net zero is such a non-negotiable ideology that everything else kind of ceases to matter in the face of it because you think you're saving the planet. I mean, obviously, I'm a pragmatist. I think the problem is that when you are holier than thou on these things, for example, when you present yourself as Bob Brown did, to be all about the environment and nothing can stop the environment, and then suddenly when you and to be all about net zero and the government's never going far enough and we've got to kill Kevin Rudd. If there's a turbine near my place, then suddenly it's a danger to birds or whatever it may be. So
Koala becomes a tree rat.
that's right. I think the trick is whenever you are too outraged, too holier than thou, and too extreme on any position, rest assured it is always going to come back and bite you in the arse when suddenly it happens to you and you're on the other end of it.
Now, I can see all the polling, I can see all of the trajectory, and I certainly know the case for a change of government in Victoria. Am I confident that there's going to be one? Well, no. Why? Because there's so many seats that need to change hands. There's the 3-way contests that exist, in the traditional 3-way, let alone the 4-way. Once you start to throw in one nation of it all, the scare campaign that exists there when it comes to the left. But one thing that I do know is that Jacinta Allen is a big part of the problem for Labor in Victoria. So, will they make her walk the plank? There are 12 days left of the parliamentary sitting. I had a look at this today. Parliamentary sitting in Victoria, meaning the opportunity to literally either boot her or to find the replacement. And those are, a couple of days here, a couple of days there. National conference happening right now. No doubt some trade-offs. Hey, maybe a federal seat here. We'll whack you into the Senate. Do you think she walks the plank before Victoria gets the chance to choose?
Whether or not she sort of walks the plank, or gets pushed along the plank, I think that is what will happen. I think there's talk, obviously, about a cross-factional delegation. There was another of her former supporters who jumped ship lately. Always back self-interest. It's the only horse you know is really trying. If you think you're going to lose your seat, suddenly your faction doesn't matter. Your factional loyalties don't matter as much as they used to. I think Ben Carroll will also, ironically, have a sort of gun put to his head as well. So you will run.
Do you want to be the Premier for
You
8
will
weeks?
save the furniture because otherwise, it could be a sort of almost extinction level event. I mean, One Nation isn't just coming for the coalition. It is coming for the Labor Party too. It already has more blue-collar voters than the Labor Party does, and that is a big structural problem.
Ross, obviously you'd like her to. You'd like there to be a change. What do you think's happening?
I'd love her to stay there. Look, in the last 24 hours, I've seen some third-party polling from her own seat, and it is not great for her. I don't think she'll hold it as it currently stands. I think that looks like going. But I am certain, I'll say here for the first time, there's been conversations of least that they're trying to find another seat for her in Victoria. They've actually discussed it. I'm not saying she'll go.
You find some way to get into the city.
Yeah, so if she's not walking the plank might walk on her. I think that might be a problem for her if she stays around.
It's just such a bonkers thing. I mean, talk about Richo's golden rule in politics. You never reward failure.
Yeah.
And you've got someone who has dragged the Labor Party backwards through a hedge.
No, it's like
I like how it
no, they never. They wait.
It's fun.
Big
It's fun.
distance, then the defence. Big distance, then the defence. All right, winners and losers of the week. Ross, who stands out for you?
Winners, Pistol and Boo. They saw what Barnaby's view of dogs was. They got out of the country. They knew he was serious.
I loved it. I think he's the winner of the week because, again, and then I think One Nation are even now selling Barnaby Joyce a dog. That's genius. Genius, right? Very clever stuff. All right, for you, Joe?
I'm much more boring, but Kate Ellis, who just got the ALP national presidency, I think she's very smart and has got the good instincts, very much in her own right. She also has a good brains trust in my very good friend Pimbo, who has a fantastic...
Might make editorials on the breakfast radio.
That's right, and has a great sort of way to cut through crap and see what's really going on. So he'll be a great stage of voice.
Thank you, lads. I do appreciate it.